making a platform fighting game with no ring outs featuring health-based combat. Now I know what you're thinking. No ring outs? Throw him in the pit! Stop! Put the pitchforks down, people. Give me a chance. I know. No ring outs and health bars is not what you'd expect to see in a platform fighter. But it's an interesting take on the genre, don't you think? And this will also help my game stand on its own, rather than being compared to Smash like many other platform fighters. Now, this idea of no ring outs has existed since my first devlog, because in that video I mentioned that my game is inspired by Little Fighter 2, which is more of a 2D beat 'em up rather than a fighting game. And initially I wanted my game to be a 2D beat 'em up as well. Little Fighter 2 has unique characters with unique abilities. There are characters that have energy projectiles, an archer with a flute that can levitate enemies, a guy with fire powers, another guy with ice powers. Also, the ice and fire guys can fuse. There's even a ninja who can create clones, can copy your character, and can even create clones of your character. And yes, they can use your abilities. You can tell this game has passion, a spark, some magic. And that's exactly what I want to capture with my game.
Welcome to the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4.
First, I decided to make this a fighting game instead of a 2D beat 'em up. Then I made two more decisions. The first was to have 2v2 fighting like a platform fighter. And the second was to not have ring outs, effectively replacing the commonly seen knockback combat with health-based combat. You might still be wondering, why no ring outs? To put it simply, I wanted to design a combat experience where you have the freedom of movement of a platform fighter while also allowing for the up-close and personal combat from traditional fighting games. I already have my game designed on paper, aka how I intend my game to be played, what systems it will have, etc. But I will need your feedback once I release the demo and beta tests in the future. Yes, your feedback. Where are you going? You can't go anywhere. You already signed the agreement. You're gonna play my game. You're gonna play my game. My fighting game currently doesn't have a title, so it's called Project E for now. Believe it or not, but coming up with a unique, memorable, and interesting game name is probably the thing that I'm struggling with the most in this project. I don't have a good name. Besides traditional health bars and no ring outs, what else makes Project E unique?
Woo! There are so many things, let me tell you.
Okay, I didn't just want to remove ring outs and add health bars and say, yep, my game is unique enough just like this. Since there are no ring outs, that also means you don't have stocks anymore. Instead, you have lives. Instead of being knocked off the screen and coming back from the top or whatever, you just get knocked out once your health bar reaches 0, and you lose a life. Then you get back up after a while and continue fighting. Another unique thing about my fighting game is what I call powers and or weapons. That's a terrible title, I know. I'll find a better one. Give me a time, give me a break. Every fighter will have a power and or weapon in this game, and their moveset will revolve around that power or weapon, providing them passive abilities in game. There are already games that give characters unique mechanics like this, but I want this game to lean heavily into these unique character mechanics. Since we already have Aaron Phoenix, the only character that exists right now, I really wish I could tell you about his unique mechanics, but I can't, because this has to be something that you see rather than hear about. All I'm gonna say is that he has fire powers. Yes, I know, right? Very original. Wow! My fighting game will have rollback netcode. If you're not new to the fighting game scene, then you probably already know what it is. But in case you don't, here is a 10-second super basic explanation.
Let's go!
Fighting games used to have delay-based netcode, where the game waits for your opponent's inputs before advancing, causing input delay. Rollback netcode predicts your opponent's inputs by believing they are doing the same thing they were just now, such as standing around, so their game runs instantly as if playing offline. When the real input arrives, the game rewinds a few frames and resimulates to fix any prediction errors. Wow, that's actually a pretty good time. If you're interested in learning more, I have some videos on my YouTube channel where I go into more details on this thing, as well as how I implemented it in my game. So, I'm making my platform fighting game stand out by removing ring outs and adding health bars. But how will the game play exactly? Yeah, see what I did there? Gameplay. The game will feature a chain attack system, similar to Dragon Ball FighterZ or Marvel vs. Capcom if you've ever played those games. The characters, or fighters as they will be called, will have 3 different kinds of attacks: a light attack, a heavy attack, and a special attack. This game will also feature a super meter, which will be used to enhance your offense and defense and will allow you to bend some predefined gameplay mechanics. There will also be super attacks, which is another reason why super meter exists. But we won't be talking about that anytime soon. These 3 kinds of attacks will change based on the direction that you hold. There will be down attacks, forward attacks, up attacks, and even neutral attacks. But that's not all. There will also be charged versions of these attacks. What's the purpose for charging attacks, you ask? Guard breaks. Blocking is infinite in this platform fighter. There is no depleting shield, just pure blocking. And guard breaks from charged attacks are one of the ways that you can, well, break an opponent's guard in this game. Another reason to charge attacks is that in most cases, the attack itself can change, instead of just dealing more damage. As for defense, your basic options will be block, parry, and dodge. Yes, there will be a parry. However, you are not allowed to block or parry in the air. Like I said before, you can block infinitely in this game, until you can't, because there are also grabs and throws. Let me know what you think of these design decisions. I want to create the basic combat systems of my game so that I can release a demo as soon as possible and get your feedback on the game. This demo will probably only include my guy Aaron Phoenix, because he's probably the only character I will create all by myself. With my fighting games design out of the way, let me tell you about the current state of the game, development-wise. I mentioned before that my game will have rollback netcode, and this is actually already fully implemented. And honestly, there's quite a lot to be covered with rollback and online that it deserves to be a devlog on its own. This being a platform fighter, there will also be movement options available. And guess what? This also deserves its own devlog because, just like the rollback netcode, it's completely implemented. Yeah, no joke. Yes, all movement options that I wanted in the game are already implemented. I have made a video before where I was working on my game's movement system, but that was before I added rollback netcode, and I didn't even finish. So again, I'll talk about movement and rollback netcode in the next devlogs. I also have a very basic main menu setup with very basic transitions. By the way, these button highlight colors aren't final. They're just temporary to show what's happening. Also, I can control this with inputs rather than just the computer mouse. I designed these menu screens in Figma, and I really love these menus that showcase what I have in mind for the future character designs. Let me know what you think of these guys. Next up, I have basic game modes implemented. Emphasis on basic. What I mean is we can start single player, local multiplayer, online multiplayer, and LAN games without a problem. You can't actually play these because there's no fighting yet, but the system that starts these game modes is already working. There's also a 5th mode, which is replay. My fighting game logs players' inputs every frame, and this log can be used to replay the game later. And there's also controller support. I only tested it with the PS5 controller I own, so I can't tell if it works with other input devices like arcade sticks. Also, I haven't implemented button remapping, but that will be in the game. One of the most fun things about my platform fighting game, for me, is that it's all data now. What do I mean by that? Well, it's literally just invisible boxes running into each other. I'm pretty sure this is the same case for other fighting games as well, but I don't see many people talking about it, so I'll do it. The game uses invisible boxes to check for collisions between players and the stage. For the stages, there is this sort of stage creator, but not in the way you think. Basically, there is a data file that stores info on the stage colliders, their position, height, width, whether it's ground or wall. You might look at this stage and think, oh, the grounds are here and the walls are there. Yes, but no. These 3D boxes don't affect the game at all. Instead, there are invisible boxes from the stage data file which can affect gameplay. The 3D boxes are just for show. That's why this wall up here doesn't do anything to the player. The same way there is a data file that stores stage collider data, There is also another data file that stores animation collider data for every single character animation, for every frame. Sorry if I'm shouting too much. These data files are very important to this game because it has rollback netcode. And because it has rollback netcode, I need to separate the game's logic from the visuals. And these data files are what allow me to do that. And with this player animation data file, there's also an unintended feature, which is adjustable animation speed. Let's say I create an animation that is 1 second long. When I put it in my game, I might realize that it's too long and I want to make it shorter. So instead of reanimating it, I simply change the number of frames on the animation file. And that can make the animation faster or slower than initially intended. My fighting game now has improved collision detection and resolution. Even though I only use invisible boxes for collision detection, it also happens to be a very robust solution. Let me explain why. I check for collisions every frame, and if two boxes are overlapping, a collision is detected. But there are also scenarios where a box can move too quickly from one frame to the next. This can skip the overlapping collision detection because the boxes are never on top of each other. Pause. So to fix this problem, I also implemented something called swept collision detection, meaning it checks if the boxes would collide between one frame and the next. It also detects where it would collide so that the player doesn't go through a wall or through another player, or both. Take a look at these before and after scenarios. One player pushing the other, both players running into each other, landing on another player, running into a player that's on the wall. Even moving at high speeds would make the player go through a wall. And now it's fixed. No matter how fast you're going, you won't go through walls or the ground. Improving this system was so complicated, it felt like I was learning math all over again. But trust me, it was worth it, because I did this for you. It feels weird telling you how my game will play without having the fighting implemented yet, but I need your feedback. And I'm also open to suggestions if you have any. Now you're up to speed with my project's development. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to follow along on this project. You can also join my Discord server where we can talk and you'll get early updates to my project's progress. Make sure to watch my last video where I finished creating the 3D model of my first and main character of this game, Aaron Phoenix. And if you're still here, have a choco milk. It's tradition over here. Why haven't you taken the choco milk? And as always, stay awesome.